What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another awesome trophy list to review from one of you wonderful subscribers. So today we have got Deathly Me, and their motto is, I don't just play games, I'm going to complete them, which is very true when we see their completion percentage. So Deathly Me has 74 platinums, 396 gold, 743 silvers, and 1,890 bronze trophies. They have played 83 games and they've completed an amazing 78 of them, which gives them a 95.8% completion rate, which is just out of this world, averaging 2.79 trophies per day. And they are ranking just about nearly in the top 12,000 of their country, which is Germany, which is very impressive. So 74 platinums, 4 ultra rares, which are Knack, Monster Hunter World, Big Planet 3, and Unravel 2. Me and Deathly Me have got 21 of the same platinums, and some of the kind of more popular platinums that you will know. Deathly Me has got a couple of God of War plats, 3 from The Last of Us, and the Spyro trilogy. So let's have a look at this trophy list. This is a very versatile trophy list, lots of different kind of games, which I think is really cool. Start off here with some absolute bangers. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is a very good one to play. Got it done in a week as well. I got mine done kind of in a week as well. I really just grinded away at it, and it is a good one. Horizon Zero Dawn, another very good game. I do think they're slightly overrated, but they're good games, the Horizon games. I still need to play the second one. And then God of War in a month and a week. You know, I talk about this game a lot. It comes up on everyone's trophy list. Every like Tom, Dick, and Harry has this platinum, but it's rated 4 out of 10, and I'm curious as to what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Do you think this is a 4 out of 10, 40-hour platinum? Do you think it's harder? Do you think it takes more time? Because I recently downloaded it again and have kind of started on that journey. So I'm just curious because I think it takes a lot longer, and I think it's a bit harder than 4 out of 10. And then Until Dawn, you did in 1 day. Life is Strange, 1 week, 6 days. I like you get your games done quickly. I quite like this. Marvel Spider-Man, 2 weeks, 5 days. Code Vein, which takes 75 hours and is rated 5 out of 10. That is very impressive. Done in a month and 2 weeks. Ratchet and Clank, another absolute classic, a must for everyone's trophy lists. Subnautica, this game looks really cool, but I've never played it. Some of my friends have, and they do recommend it, but it does look like quite an interesting game. And from what I understand, a fairly straightforward platinum, but it's definitely one that I want to try out. And then onto this, look at this absolute banger, The Last of Us Remastered in April 2021. Which is good to see, because obviously that means the multiplayer is still very popular. That is a tough platinum, and definitely a platinum I would have loved to have got if the multiplayer wasn't such a grind. But that is a great one. Got to finish the game on survival and survival new game plus, and a huge multiplayer campaign that you have to basically play through twice. So that is a really good one. Immortals Phoenix Rising, another good one. And then you got your PS5 in 2021 and got the inaugural debut PS5 Platinum, Astro's Playroom. I really hope they make a sequel to this. Slime Rancher, I've heard of this game. It looks pretty cool, it looks fun. And then we've got It Takes Two twice, which I've done as well. I've done It Takes Two on the PS4 and PS5 with my partner. I love this game, guys. If you have someone you can play with, this is an absolute great game to play. And a very fun platinum, because I think it's like half the trophy list is just completing the story, and then the other half is really fun, very random miscellaneous trophies like some of which you wouldn't even know you wouldn't even do automatically. You have to kind of maybe read a guide or something, but they're really fun. Lots of like Easter eggs and cool things. Untitled Goose Game, I do see this quite a lot on people's trophy list. And then this Necromunda Hired Gun. So this is a game, this reminds me of why I love doing these trophy lists, because I then find games that I want to play. So I love FPS games, single player FPS games, and I kind of run out of ones to play. And I saw this recently on, I can't remember whose trophy list, but a few videos back. And I put it on my wish list, and luckily it went on sale. And this game only came out, I think, a year or 2 years ago. It's very recent, like around COVID times. And it looks pretty cool. It kind of just looks like a Doom type game. First person shooter, kind of very like battle kind of situation where you're in a big room and loads of enemies and you've got to use all your gear and all your kind of perks, etc. And so you went and did that twice. Which I like to see. I think you do that on your trophy list, play a game on either the 4 or the 5, and then you go back and complete it on the other console. So yeah, this is definitely a game that I want to platinum soon. Little Nightmares 2, you did this in one day. Same, I did this in one day. This is a very odd game. Very fun, straightforward platinum, and really nice art style. Very good graphics. Just a very odd little game. You did it back to back on 2 days, which is dedication, absolute dedication. Assassin's Creed 2, nice to see, done on the PS4 over the course of nearly 2 years. Very nice to see you chipping away at that. And then I don't know why the numbers are not coming up for this, because this is a very impressive platinum. I'm sure some of you have heard about this. So Hollow Knight is normally rated at about 9 out of 10, and people say 50 hours to complete, which I'm not sure is accurate because there's a big grind in this game, but this is a very difficult platinum. So hats off to you for doing that. Then Last of Us 2, over the course of 10 months, I presume you finished the game and then kind of left it and went back to do your semi-second playthrough to kind of get all the upgrades and the collectibles, etc. Plague Tale Innocence. So I've got a copy of this game and I would like to play it. I know it's a pretty straightforward platinum and just looks like a very interesting story, quite a well-made game, and kind of in a way gives me a bit of Last of Us vibes, because you're kind of adult, semi-adult, taking care of a kind of a child. I know there's a lot of stealth gameplay, but kind of very encouraging that you got it done in just under 4 days, because that is definitely a game that I want to try and then eventually play the sequel, Requiem. Kena, Bridge of Spirits. So this is another game. I believe it came on the PS Plus collection, if you have an extra or premium subscription, about, I think, a month ago, very recently. So I downloaded it. This is a game that I just think looks amazing. I think it was the debut game from that developer, which is, again, very impressive. And platinum wise, what puts me off is you have to complete this game on the hardest difficulty. So you have to do 2 playthroughs, the hardest one being master difficulty, and it is very hard. From all the videos I've seen, everyone makes it very clear that this is it's a big jump up to the next, the hardest difficulty. Now, I do know there is some kind of complicated glitch where you can get around the master difficulty, and I do feel bad asking this, but I'm curious, did you use that glitch? And if you did, is it quite easy to do? Because I won't lie, that will encourage me to try getting the platinum in this game, because I won't be able to platinum it otherwise. Yeah, if it's a third person shooter, I could probably do it on the hardest difficulty, but not when it's kind of magic and swords and swinging, dodging, parrying. I'm not good at those games, unfortunately. The Wolf Among Us, I believe there's a sequel coming for this. So this is a Telltale game and it is kind of cool. It takes loads of like famous folklore characters that you've all known of and heard of and puts them all into one kind of world. It is pretty cool, but I just wasn't a fan. And it is one of those telltales where you have to redo some chapters. You can't just play through the game start to finish and you get the platinum. You do have to go back and change, I think, some answers to certain things. But yeah, I've got that platinum as well. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I think this just got added as well to the PS Extra and Premium collection. Really good one. Not as good as the first one that was on the PS4, but it's a good game. And if you have a PS5, it looks amazing. Absolutely looks great. And then on to a game I'm very intrigued about, which is Mortal Shell. So this is one of those Souls-like games, and it was on sale on the PS Store like last year, really like dirt cheap. I think I got it for like £3 or something, and I picked it up. I've only ever just played the tutorial at the beginning, but basically you are, I don't know what you are. Are you a man? You're this being, and you're kind of in this body where one hit will kill you, and then there's 4 different shells you can pick up of like dead warriors or something, and they all have different perks. And then you pick up that shell and you kind of take on that shell's kind of abilities. But it's a game where you have to do 2 playthroughs, or you can do 1, because you have to do a playthrough where you go through the game without wearing a shell, which means you're always 1 hit, 1 death away from any enemy. So, and the game has this kind of mechanic where you harden. So at any point, I can't remember which button it is, but you press L1 or L2, and your whole body hardens, and then any shot you get from even a boss just rebounds off. And if you kind of time that well, you can get through the game. So I'm curious, Deathly Me, did you do this in kind of just the 1 playthrough, and how hard did you find the game? But it does look cool from what I've played. It's definitely one that I do want to try, but I just suck at these Souls-like From Software games. That I'm awful at them, horrendous. Then from that kind of darkness onto a nice kind of colorful game, which is Spiritfarer. One that I'm definitely going to check out and maybe add to my list of to do. Then this, I think this must be an auto pop for Subnautica. And onto Spider-Man Remastered on the PS5. Nice. Obviously, some of you would watch the showcase last week showing off Spider-Man 2. So I'm sure there's a lot of excited people coming up for that. And then Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. This game just looks wild. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's one of these high school Japanese style games that seems to be very popular. Outer Worlds. So this is a first person shooter RPG type game. You have to complete 2 playthroughs. One again on the hardest difficulty, and it's one of those games where you make choices, you fall out with certain factions, and a bit like Fallout. It gets a lot of comparisons to Fallout, and it does have a lot of missable trophies, but it looks very cool, and it is one that I've had for quite a while, but I just haven't started. I think I do worry about kind of keeping track of which factions I need to be cool with, or, you know, making sure I keep track of the missable trophies. So it would be good to know how hard you found this game, but it does look like a good FPS game that I want to try. And then back to back, you've done Hellblade and The Order, which were like my, I think, 4th and 5th platinums. And you did The Order so quick. I took like just over a day, but you absolutely banged this out. I think there was a few little trophies that I just had to do a few times over and over. But these are good games. If you're beginning your journey as a trophy hunter and some games you find a bit too difficult or intimidating, these are 2 very good ones just to kind of work on. Hellblade is a really good game. Quite underrated, and I think both only need 1 playthrough, so they're very good if you're a beginner trophy hunter. And then the next game on the list is if you're an expert trophy hunter. So this is another really, really impressive platinum, Cuphead. This is very hard. I mean, 8 out of 10. Only 30 hours, but Yeah, this is one of those notorious platinum trophies, and it's weird because when you look at the art style, you wouldn't expect it to maybe have such a hard platinum, but yeah, it looks hard. I've seen some footage of it, and yeah, it looks like a tricky game to play. So well done on getting that. And then you went back and did Kana again. So yeah, same questions apply. How you went about the master difficulty, and then onto this absolute masterpiece, which you loved so much that you played twice, platinum on the same day, so back to back. I'm curious about this. I think this came up in the last video. People who do the same game twice, or a series, they platinum it on the same day. I think we had the Uncharted trilogy. Someone did that on the same day, and I just wonder, do you like do 3 hours of the PS4 version and then do another 3 hours of the same stuff from the PS5 version? I'm curious to know. But I guess if you play it at the same time, the second one is easier because you know what's about to happen, you know how to get around the enemies, etc. Watch Dogs 2, I've never played any of these games. They look so complicated. Like, you take control of any NPC in the game and you could do missions with them and all the hacking and stuff. It looks cool, and I think the big part of it, I think they all take place in London, or at least one of them does. I think the big appeal for me would be to play it to see London, because it's very rare for me to see London in video games, unfortunately. So that would be quite fun to see how they recreated my city. That would be pretty cool. Then on to this absolute beast or monster of a platinum, Monster Hunter World. You see what I did there, calling it a monster? 4 out of 10, 300 hours. You did it in a month. A month has about 30 days. So you dedicated, if my maths are correct, you dedicated 10 hours a day, 30 days in a row. This is quite an epic platinum to have, like to put in that much amount of time. Obviously, for some people, it'll be quicker if they're better or whatever. But yeah, that is a beast of a platinum. Then Walking Dead: A New Frontier. I presume this is another Telltale, like it's a kind of a sequel or a side story. I'm not sure, but Bridge Constructor Portal. This is definitely one for me to check out. And then Knack. I've been seeing Knack come up quite a few times on some trophy lists, and it is a ultra rare. And kind of at first when I was watching footage of it, it didn't look hard, but then the more I watched, I was like, actually, this looks like a tricky game. So another impressive platinum, rated at 6 out of 10, and you did very quickly in 4 days, 6 hours. And then whilst you're in the Knack mode, you kind of went back and did Knack 2. Like to see that, just banging out the sequel straight away. Very nice. A Way Out. This is another very easy platinum, very fun platinum, from the studio that made It Takes Two. Another one, if you have someone you can play with, this is a very good game. I actually prefer it to It Takes Two. The story is so good. The story is really good. And it's a weird platinum because you get the platinum way before you finish the game. I think it's like the only time it's happened to me. All of the trophies in this game are miscellaneous. I don't think there's any trophies for the story at all. So they're all miscellaneous things, and they're all fun to do. So you then get the platinum, I think, yeah, well before you finish like the final level such. Far Cry 3, always happy to see a Far Cry game on a trophy list. I think these games get so much like criticism. I'm not sure why. I do wonder if maybe you'll play the other ones, or if it was just this one that you liked. This seems to be a lot of people's favorite Far Cry, -5, but yeah, in a week and 2 days it does. If you kind of chip away at it, you can get it done in a week. I did that as well. And then this is another impressive one, Little Big Planet 3, which I think, yeah, is an ultra rare. 5 out of 10, and if memory serves me correctly, this has one beast of a trophy where I think near the end of the game, you have to go through this massive gauntlet of platforming, and it takes like, I think at least 15 minutes. You can't die. If you die, you start all the way back at the beginning, and I've seen videos of it, and it is hard. Like, you have to memorize so much, and it's not like a gauntlet where you can just stop and take a breather. You have to keep moving, keep moving. So if it's that game, then this is a very impressive platinum, because yeah, that trophy just looks so painful. And then you went and did Death's Door in 3 days and 8 hours, and that's rated at 15 hours, 4 out of 10. So that, again, very impressive, getting through the platinums. Speaking of which, then God of War Ragnarok, the big one, another very popular platinum, which you did in a week and a day, which I think is just crazy. A lot of people do these God of War platinums in like a week, which I find very impressive, because there's so much side mission, there's loads of extra bosses and stuff. I still haven't played Ragnarok. I'm kind of enjoying going through God of War 2018 again, and enjoying the story. So I'm very up for Ragnarok, which I think I'll do in a few months. I've heard it's easier, the platinum, than 2018, but I can't tell if that's true or not. I think the 2018 platinum's harder than people make out, but so it might be the case with this one as well, that it's actually a little bit harder. But I will see for sure, but I've heard great things about it. And then went back and did Death's Door on PS5, and then nicely done in the winter, just before Christmas, you did Miles Morales, which is probably the perfect time to play that game. Still haven't played it. I've got a PS5 download. I need to do this one, because also every time I see it on a trophy list, I see people did it in 2 days, which I find very appealing. I do like quick platinums. Who doesn't? And then 12 minutes, got that back to back just after Christmas time. And then you did Cloud Punk, and then Black the Fall, which is something I'm definitely going to look into. The Stanley Parable, I've heard of this. I've seen this come up a few times. Horizon Forbidden West. This came up on PS Plus, and I have downloaded it, but I did Zero Dawn maybe like a month ago, 3 games ago. It was one of my very recent platinums, so I'm not sure if I want to go back into that world, because it's one of those platinums where it's like big open world, loads of collectibles, side missions, etc., etc. You know the kind of type. But the graphics look amazing, and I'm intrigued as to where they take the story with this one. So I will eventually pick this up and play it. Stray, this is very popular. I see a lot of people are now doing it back to back on both PS4, PS5. And I'm curious, actually. I don't know. Maybe I should try that as well, because I've only got the PS5 version. And it's a very straightforward platinum. The only trophy you have to just keep an eye out on is the speed run. And then onto this one. This is a impressive platinum. Demon Souls, 7 out of 10. This is the PS5 remake. This is another one as well. I've done another From Software game where I played like the first hour and a half. Luckily, I didn't pop a trophy, and it was just, yeah. I don't know. These games are just. I know a lot of people's opinions on them seem to be kind of similar, where they say you have to just play them, and then it all clicks and falls into place, and you totally get how to play them, and then you'll love them and all that. But I find them very difficult, and the lack of information I don't like. But I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there who kind of say this platinum's quite easy, quite straightforward for a From Software game. But it does look good, and maybe I'll try it again in the future, but for now I'm putting those on the shelf. But yeah, this is a very, very impressive platinum. And another one, Mafia, 6 out of 10, 2 days. Look at that. That is pretty cool. You did that in 2 days. This is the one with that difficult racing trophy. I think there's rumors of a remake as well, or a remaster, which would be quite cool. And then everyone's favorite trilogy, the Spyro games, back to back, nicely done. Same day, yeah, 2nd March, Spyro Day. And all of them 5 days, 6 hours. That is so weird. That's quite funny. But yeah, you must have had a nice time in that week just playing the 3 Spyros. They are so good. Unravel 2. This is, if you saw like 10 minutes of gameplay of this game, you would think, okay, this looks good. And then someone told you it's an 8 out of 10. I don't think you'd believe it, but I've heard how hard this game is. It is really, really hard. I think as well, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to do a no death run as well, where you can't die on the levels. But yeah, this is impressive. And I think co-op or online, it'd be interesting to see how you did it. But yeah, this is a very, very difficult one. I think number 2 is much harder than number 1. It's like there's a big jump in difficulty for some reason. And then this is the PS5 version of Outer Worlds, which came out this year. I think people weren't too happy when it came out, I think, because of glitches or issues with graphics and stuff. But I don't know if that's maybe an auto pop or you kind of bang the game out because you obviously already know it. And then Last of Us Part 1 in basically 3 days, just under 3 days, which, yeah, it's been allocated. Oh, these are the numbers from the remaster. Yeah, this is not 60 hours and it's not 6 out of 10. It's like 2 out of 10 and like 25 hours. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, actually. If you just sat down and just played the game, you'd get it done very quickly. Yeah, Last of Us 1 is actually shorter than I thought. Or maybe it's because you kind of know what to do because you've played the other remastered version. I don't know, but yeah, that was a much quicker plat for me as well than I expected. And then this is quite impressive because Hogwarts Legacy is a game I really want to play. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, but I've heard nightmare stories about the collectibles. I've heard there's a stupid amount of collectibles, and yeah, I'm not really in the mood for a big collectible kind of hunt of a game, but it'll be interesting to hear from you, definitely, me, if it's not as bad as people make out. But yeah, that is really good to see and very impressive that you did it so kind of quickly in a week and a half. And then onto Haven, another one that I'm seeing crop up a lot on trophy lists. One that I'm definitely going to check out. And then boom, Forbidden West on the PS5. And in a week and 2 days, which I think is very impressive. Although it does say 35 hours, but these hours that PSN profiles give sometimes, I think is very generous for me, especially. Like, I think whatever they say, I normally add on like 15 hours comfortably. So yeah, like I said before, I think I will maybe near the end of the year pick this game up and have a look at it for sure. So very nice trophy list, very versatile. There's some very impressive platinums in there. So getting close to 100, the question is, are you going to do any particular game for 100? Do you have a little plan for that? And thank you for submitting your trophy list for me to review, Deathly Me. And yeah, if you want me to review your trophy list, please just subscribe to the channel and give me your PSN profiles. Make sure it's registered on this website and then we can review it. I've got quite a few to get through and I will be posting more and more of these in the near future. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button. That will be really appreciated. Take care.